Healthy communication. What does that look like? Let's go on and talk about it.
I was just patient, never try skating. Fuck niggas hating.
A lot of times you will hear people say that they want healthy communication or a healthy communicator. And you hear it and it sounds like a good idea, but maybe you don't know exactly what that entails, what it looks like. Maybe you didn't grow up around a parent or parents that exhibited or, had healthy communication. Therefore, you can learn how it's done by watching someone else do it. And maybe you do know what healthy communication is, and this video can help validate your thoughts on what it is. Healthy communication, in my opinion, is at the foundation of a healthy relationship. It's at the foundation of longevity in any kind of relationship, whether it's a business relationship or it's a domestic partnership or it's a marriage. I think healthy communication is huge. A lot of people have their own perceptions on what healthy communication actually is. Some people feel like just honesty alone equals healthy communication. And sometimes, you can be honest to a point where it hurts somebody's feelings. And the fact that it's hurting somebody's feelings, in my opinion, will make that unhealthy. But at the same time, on the flip side of that coin, you have to choose your struggle. And what I mean by that is, do you choose to lie to somebody to preserve their feelings, or you tell them the truth because that's honest and that's the best policy, and even if it does hurt somebody's feelings. So I guess what I'm getting at in this video is healthy communication is not just one thing. I have 10 things that you can do to have healthy communication. And like I said before, it doesn't matter if it's a friendship or domestic partnership or relationship or business relationship. Healthy communication is at the foundation of any relationship. And I think it's directly tied to the longevity of that relationship. Because without healthy communication, there's other things that you do to communicate in an unhealthy way that can shorten the lifespan of that relationship. So if you are somebody that wants to have healthy communication of your own, or maybe you're looking for somebody who has healthy communication and you want to put a good solid foundation to what that even means and to even know what to look for in another person in order to increase the longevity of that relationship, I'm gonna help you with that in this video right here. Okay, I do practice healthy communication. And healthy communication, if you are the only one doing it, it's not going to increase the longevity of the relationship. Let me be clear on that. If you're the only one out of the two or more people that have, and for some reason, need to communicate, if you're the only one practicing healthy communication, the relationship is not going to last. Another thing to keep in mind is that if that person doesn't value healthy communication, if the way you choosing to communicate, which is in a healthy way, is not something that they even value or deem to be necessary, it's not going to increase the longevity of that relationship. Now, why would somebody not choose to literally intentionally choose to communicate in other ways other than healthy communication? These are your deceivers and your manipulators. Unfortunately, they probably make up close to 50% of the population. So the chances of you walking outside your house and going to your job and going to the gas station or going to your school and running into an unhealthy communicator who is aware that they do not communicate healthy but is okay with that is 50%. Okay, so there are people who deliberately choose to communicate unhealthy because they get some kind of validation or supply from that. And they are more like an opportunist or a manipulator, a master manipulator, somebody who likes to take people for granted, take advantage of people, and that's how they thrive throughout their life, and that's how they get their gain or their ill-gotten gain because it wasn't done in a healthy way. And this type of person will not value healthy communication. Therefore, you having healthy communication on your end would not increase the longevity of that relationship. It probably would assist in bringing that relationship to a close faster. So it could end up working out for you if you aren't trying to be in a relationship that doesn't have healthy communication. Let's jump right into it. Number one, healthy communication leaves neither hanging. It leaves neither party hanging. It leaves neither participant hanging. So when you have somebody who communicates in a healthy way, this is the opposite of someone who will ghost you. Ghosting is a tactic that people use when they want to, they want to dismiss themselves from a situation without providing closure or any kind of explanation for their actions. They just walk away. So you're left hanging. Okay, that's not healthy communication. Ghosting people or being ghosted is a form of unhealthy communication. So healthy communication will never leave somebody hanging. Even on a lesser dramatic scale of leaving somebody hanging, obviously somebody asking you a question and you're not answering it, you answering a question indirectly to where the answer was never fully received. So that person is still left unsure, and they're like, it's like they're left in suspense. That's unhealthy communication. So if you know how to identify this when you are talking to somebody and you kind of feel like, you don't understand what their answer was to your question and you still need clarity, you should ask for clarity. Be like, I don't understand what you mean. Can you give me an example, or can you break that down to me, please? And this person, because everyone doesn't articulate themselves the same, this person should have no problem with revising their statement or re-explaining what they meant to you, because they are not trying to leave you hanging. They want you to understand the message that they are trying to articulate or convey. Okay, so that's number one. Healthy communication does not leave either party hanging. Each party, everyone included or everyone participating in that communication, knows what's being said, what's going on, what's the moral to the story, the plot, whatever. Okay, that's number one. Number two, healthy communication leaves no room for confusion or miscommunication. Okay, because when you are communicating with somebody in a healthy fashion, you might even, if you're the one who's practicing healthy communication, you might even want to be like, do you understand? You might ask somebody, you see what I'm saying? Or you understand what I'm getting at? And if they don't understand, then you would reiterate. Okay, now again, this is something that you'll see in a lot of manipulators that is unhealthy, because they intentionally try to confuse you when they talk to you. They intentionally say things that are not reality based. And you listen to them, you're like, what are you talking about? And then instead of re-explaining themselves to you, they will leave you in a state of confusion. They will be like, if you don't understand, then I'm not explaining myself. If you don't get it, I don't get it. I mean, there's nothing I can do. And you're like, you're intentionally leaving me confused. Okay, so as you can clearly see, there's a healthy communication doesn't leave room for confusion or misunderstandings. You are very thorough when you speak. So someone, when you're talking to and you're letting them know, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean? And they're like, forget it. The reason why they're so quick to say forget it and walk away from the conversation is because their intentions were to confuse you. It's called word salad. Okay, it's a phrase used by a lot of therapists when they describe narcissistic personality disorder. But word salad is when I want your brain to be scrambling for the cheese. If you were a rat in a maze, I want you to not know which way to go. I want you to just give up because you were confused. And then once you give up, then you're off point. You'll never figure out what I'm trying to say. And you don't figure out what I'm trying to say because I word saladed. I guess that's not a word, but because I word salad you so that I can, avoid accountability for something, or that I can lead you astray from the truth of a situation. So it's a form of deceit. Okay, word salad is a form of deceit. It's to scramble your brain. It's to confuse you. Okay, so that's why I'm making this video on healthy communication, because when you're communicating with somebody and you have that feeling of confusion or you never come to an understanding, just know you are dealing with somebody who is trying to manipulate you. And if they aren't intentionally trying to manipulate you, you are dealing with somebody who has no idea how to communicate in a healthy fashion. Therefore, they are toxic and unhealthy. Number 3, healthy communication leaves no room for doubt or insecurities. There's a lot of times you'll hear modern women say things that intentionally instill insecurity in you. Oh my God. When we go back to, well, I could say when I go back to, because I'm 39 years old and I haven't really been through this in over 20 plus years, but women who used to say things to make you insecure, maybe about your manhood, about your size of your body parts and stuff like that, intentionally communicating in a way that tears one down and belittles you and makes you feel smaller and insignificant and inferior, okay, that's not healthy communication. Healthy communication does not have room for doubt. It doesn't instill doubt. It doesn't instill insecurity in another person. That's not healthy communication. It's very important that you understand this, because if you're talking to somebody and they have the nerve, the guts, the notion to say something to you that intentionally makes you doubt yourself on any level, you're not really that smart. You're not as smart as you think you are. You ain't as cute as you think you are. These things are meant to instill doubt in you and insecurity in you. That is unhealthy, therefore not healthy form of communication. Okay, we should not be indulging in unhealthy communication. And if you are not the person that's putting unhealthy communication out there, you should have enough self-respect to put up a wall against that. Be like, nah, I need healthy communication. If you don't want to communicate in a healthy fashion, then I don't want to communicate with you. Okay, it creates strife, resentment, bitterness, indifference. You guys, there's no way you're going to increase the longevity of a relationship on either part. You have to take accountability on this one. And to me, this is a fun topic. You know, I don't know how important it is and who needs to hear it out there, but I have friends that I've had for years, and we don't always agree, but we practice healthy communication. So when we come back around, we laugh at each other. Literally, I am not gassing you right now. We say, man, I was tripping, man. We can say, I was tripping. I don't know what I didn't mean to do that. It's easy for us to move past situations because we communicate with each other in a transparent, healthy, respectful manner. Okay? That's why I feel like this topic is very important. Okay? I wouldn't just sit down here and do this video if it wasn't important that we all learn the difference, bare minimum, learn the difference between healthy and unhealthy communication. So when we go through our life, we know what to look for in our counterparts or our teammates, et cetera, business partners. You know where I'm getting at. Okay? Number 4, healthy communication doesn't leave any questions unanswered. A lot of times when I talk to women online dating, they try to give me vague answers to my questions, or they try to they insinuate that they don't want to play 21 questions. They don't want to answer a bunch of questions. Not healthy communication. Anybody who is transparent, knows who they are, and isn't ashamed of themselves has no problem with answering your questions. Have you ever seen somebody in an interview and they didn't want to answer the interviewer's questions? I've seen this happen with Kevin Gates before. I've seen it happen with, I think, Roddy Ricch. I've seen it happen with a couple of celebrities where they were in an interview and didn't want to answer the questions. Chris Brown, he was on Good Morning America, and they were trying to bring up the situation between him and Rihanna. And he was on there to intentionally talk about his album, but they brung up the situation with Rihanna, and he was like, I'm not here to talk about that. Okay? Now, I understand where he was coming from because they wouldn't let his past go. And they were trying to judge him, and he was there literally to promote a new album he was working on. So I understand his frustrations. But my point in bringing that up is, when you are a healthy communicator and there's nothing that you don't want to unveil, or that you want understanding between you and whoever you're talking to, they can ask you as many questions as possible. That's not a problem for you. If you ask me a question, when people ask me a question, I shut up and listen because I want to answer their question. I feel like they might need my help, or they might really want to understand something. And therefore, I'm like, okay, no problem. Ask me whatever you want to ask me. And then I answer those questions. Okay? Somebody who is trying to deceive you or manipulate you, they do not want to answer your questions. The reason why is because answering your questions unveils their true intentions. So they don't want to answer all your questions because then you're going to know what their intentions are. Therefore, the possibility and the opportunity for them to get what they're trying to get out of you and extract what they want out of you, it won't happen. So they have to avoid some of your questions. Okay, you asked me too many questions. No more questions. I don't want to play 21 questions. Just go out on a date. Just take me out. Okay? I hear that often when it comes to women. Sometimes conversations I have with women don't go anywhere simply because she doesn't want to answer questions. And if you don't want to answer my questions, and my questions are intended to get to know who you are, you don't want me to know who you are, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. Oh, your questions are boring, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I know how to ask basic questions, and I know how to ask brain buster questions. And I'm not going to get to the brain buster questions unless I feel like you have the mental capacity. And I'm not going to feel like you have the mental capacity unless you are even able to articulate yourself when I ask you basic questions. You know what I'm saying? So you can't answer a basic question. Why would I ask you a complex question? Yeah, don't fall for it, guys. Okay? Healthy communication does not leave questions unanswered. Number 5, healthy communication acknowledges gaps and pauses between interactions. Come on now. This is common sense. You talking on the phone with somebody and they say, hold on 1 second. And they put the phone down and they go deal with a situation that popped up while they're on the phone with you. And when they come back, you know what they say? I'm sorry about that. I just had to go do this. So you call somebody and they say, hey, I'm at work, bro. I'm going to call you back. You say, okay. They hang up the phone. You don't hear from them for 24 hours. When they come back, they're going to be like, oh, man, I totally forgot. I got off work and I went home and I had to take care of the wife. I had to take care of the kids. And I passed out because I was burnt out tired, man. My bad. Healthy communication acknowledges gaps and pauses in between interactions. You ever been talking to a chick? I know the answer is yes. And for some reason, she went, maybe, let's say on the smaller scale, 4 to 8 hours without responding to you. On the higher scale, 2 to 3 days without responding to you. And she just comes back to the conversation if it was via text message and she responded to your last message as if there's nothing wrong with taking 3 days to respond to you. That's unhealthy communication. Quickest way to see if somebody in that situation communicates in a healthy manner is they will come back and be, I'm so sorry that it took me so long to sorry for the delay. I have this going on, that going on, this going on. Bare minimum, just being a respectful person, they will acknowledge the gap or pause in between those interactions. Somebody who can just come back to the conversation 8 hours later, like there wasn't a pause, like there's no explanation needed for their gap, that's not healthy communication. I don't care what anybody says. Don't fall for it. That's not healthy communication. Okay? Number 6, healthy communication doesn't leave out details relevant to the overall concept. So lying is not telling the truth. Lying is saying something that's not true. Where'd you go last night? And they say, I went to my brother's house when they really went to the club. That's a lie. There's also a thing called lying by omission, where you leave out details. So you could say, where'd you go last night? And this person will say, I went with my brother, but then he wanted to stop by the store. And then he also ended up going to the movies. Maybe in that event, they went to the store, he went to his brother's house, and they went to the movies, but they also stopped by the strip club. He failed to mention the strip club. He left out details about what he did last night. Everything else is true. So when you go check receipts, video cameras, whatever it is that you have access to, and you see, yeah, he was at the store. Yeah, he was at the movie theater. Yeah, he was at his brother's. But then you also see some kind of way, maybe on a credit card statement, that he was making it rain in the club. That's a lie. Someone just lied to you. They left out details. That is not healthy communication. That is lying by omission. That is deceitful. Okay? So this is very important that we understand that healthy communication does not leave out details pertinent to the overall concept. If I'm asking you a question, are we talking about something? Don't leave out any details. Leaving out details is a clear sign that that's a admission of guilt. You're guilty of something, or you're trying to withhold information from me because you don't want to hear my mouth, or you don't want you don't want to hurt my feelings, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter how you justify it. That is unhealthy communication. Okay, so when you're looking for somebody who communicates in a healthy fashion, you don't want somebody who leaves out details. You just don't. I mean, I feel like you need to tell me everything, and if you tell me everything, if I accept those terms, we have nothing further to talk about. If I don't accept those terms, well, at least you communicated with me in a healthy fashion and gave me the right to make a decision for myself instead of you making the decision for me. Oh, I know they don't want to hear that. A deceiver is going to tell you, I lied to you because I knew you would judge me. I lied to you because I knew you wouldn't understand. I lied to you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. That is not healthy communication. Okay? Number 7, healthy communication is carefully articulated to be delivered in a respectful manner. So instead of you having word salad, word vomit, just letting stuff come off your tongue, I say it how it is. I'm just keeping it real. That's not healthy communication. There is a way. You are responsible as the communicator. You are, regardless of which side of the communicating you are on. It's each party's sole responsibility to articulate themselves in a respectful manner. Because that is how you contribute to healthy communication. That is your role. It's no one else's responsibility. How that looks is even like this. If somebody decides to communicate with you in an unhealthy manner or tone, you are still obligated to respond in a healthy tone. And not only are you obligated to do that, because if you're the one who wants to uphold the principle of healthy communication, you do it. But by not responding to somebody in an unhealthy manner, you therefore hold the right to determine if that's the kind of communication you don't want to indulge in. And you now have the right to tell them, I will not tolerate this tone. I will not tolerate this form of communication. But if you reactive, out of just being reactive, respond equally as disrespectful or match someone's energy. I don't match energy, by the way. But if you're matching someone's energy, you are just as bad as them. Therefore, you can't hold them to a standard you couldn't reach yourself. That is not healthy communication. It's very important that we individually and together practice healthy communication. Okay? So the way you articulate your communication is your responsibility. You cannot sit there and say, well, I only yelled at you because you yelled at me. No. Because that's what you're going to hear somebody. I'm only yelling at you because you don't understand, or I'm only yelling at you because I had to repeat myself. No, it's still your responsibility to communicate and articulate with me in a way that I'm able to understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. Therefore, you need to be patient. You need to understand that I'm not understanding what you're saying. And you need to, if you want to convey something to me, you need to find another way, respectful way to articulate or convey that message. Use parables, use riddles, use examples, bring somebody else in. Use a whiteboard and say, look, if you do this, then this happens. Whatever is needed to articulate itself in a respectful manner. That's healthy communication. Number 8, healthy communication's main objective is to edify and enlighten others. That is the reason why we have mouths and words can come out, regardless of the language you speak. When you talk to somebody else, it can be for entertainment. Yeah, you could talk to somebody and tell them a story. You could be a comedian standing up on stage in front of a mic and just tell jokes just to entertain people. So yes, communicating can be used for entertainment. But if you are practicing healthy communication within a relationship dynamic, regardless of what kind of relationship it is, the purpose of your communicating is to edify, which is to teach someone, or to enlighten someone, which is to bring awareness to a certain situation, making sure you two are on the same page, making sure you two are up to standard, up to par. Both of you guys are aware of the roles or expectations of one another. So that is the purpose of healthy communication. To edify or to enlighten one another. Okay? Me and my boys, we say that iron sharpens iron, or we'll say we're cracking atoms. You know what I'm saying? When we are bouncing our ideas off of each other in order to come up with a better idea that includes both or more than one perspective. That's the main objective of healthy communication in any situation. Not to tear people down, not to ridicule, persecute, insult, bring doubt, misunderstanding, insecurity to a situation. That is not the objective of healthy communication. All of those things are void in healthy communication. Number 9, healthy communication yields to all perspectives. It welcomes any perspective. It's okay, even if somebody's off and you don't agree, healthy communication still yields. Let somebody express themselves, even if it is not on point or is not relevant, is not true, is whatever. You allow people to express themselves. You don't overtalk people. You don't tell people they're wrong. You listen to understand, not to respond. It yields to all perspectives. All, keyword. Not just your own. All perspectives. So this is something that you can work on yourself. When somebody's coming and trying to tell you something, you have to listen and see what can actually be taken from what they're saying, because sometimes your haters are trying to tell you how to be better and you just perceive them to be a hater. And maybe they are really a hater. But if you take something that a hater says to you about yourself and you say, what can I use from what this person is saying? They're implying that I'm too loud, as an example. Next time you communicate with them, don't talk to them loud and see what happens. What you'll notice in somebody who is just simply giving you the runaround is that you're never going to be able, they're going to move the goalposts. They're going to say, I like it when you're loud. You're going to raise your voice. They're going to, nope, I like it when you're quiet. You're going to do this. Nope. It's like you're chasing something that doesn't exist. That's unhealthy. But if somebody is telling you, I don't like it when you're loud, and then you lower your voice, I can't hear you. And it's like they're trying to move. A healthy communicator, even if they appear to be somebody who is a hater of yours, I know this is a shallow example, but it's still relevant. When you do something that they say they like or don't like, and vice versa, when you honor those things and you take them into consideration, problem going away. No further problem. No further questions, Your Honor. Healthy communication. Lastly, number 10. Healthy communication increases the longevity of any relationship. I started off by saying this. Very true. As you can see, it increases the longevity of any relationship because there's really no misunderstandings. There's no disrespect. There's no confusion. You know what each party expectations are, intentionality is. You know the truth about things. You are given the opportunity to make a decision for yourself instead of someone making the decision for you, that you're going to tolerate something that you didn't even know was going on. So that's why it's very important that we have healthy communication in our relationships. It's necessary in order for the relationship to last. With anybody, your brother, your mother, your sister, your children, your girlfriend, your boss. Excuse me. And yes, sometimes healthy communication can bring relationships to an end quicker. Not because it's anything unhealthy about it. It's just that maybe the intentionality of both parties are not the same. Inevitably, you don't waste your time or anyone else's time. And you knowing that that is an element that's needed in a healthy relationship, you know that if you cannot have healthy communication, then there's no way that you are in a healthy relationship. That helps you. So if you're with somebody currently who doesn't communicate in a healthy fashion, this is probably a good video to watch, or other videos like this. I'm not the end all be all, but it's something that you definitely want to practice. And you can lead by example. You don't have to wait for someone else to do it. And you can say, you see how when you talk, I listen? I'd really like it if you did that same thing for me. You see how I articulate myself to you in a way that it's easy for you to receive? I'd really like for you to articulate yourself like that to me when you speak. You see how I'm telling you exactly how I feel and you're not left not knowing what's going on? I'd really like you to express yourself to me the way I'm expressing myself to you. And then build healthy communication within your relationship. If this video has resonated with you or if you just simply like it, please give me a like, comment, or subscribe. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jerome, and this has been yet another episode of The Superb Word. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your healthy relationship and lives and days. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Until next time, 2 fingers.